Yo, what's up? This is Groovin' and G. Welcome back to my channel. I just firstly want to say thank you very much for all the support I've been getting recently. I know I'm still very small, but I really appreciate it. And yeah, I'm going to bring as much Renoise content as I can in the coming weeks and months. So let's get right into it. Firstly, I'm just going to play you my tune that I've made. It's going to demonstrate all these crazy kind of amen, different techniques and effects. And I've really gone to town on this and put some powers and shit with it. So yeah, hopefully you like it. Let's get locked in.
Listen up.
Listen to me carefully.
Listen up.
Listen to me carefully.
Okay then, so today I was going to make a video about the phrase editor, but I've actually decided to do a video on a technique I use which is quite similar to using the phrase editor, but I think a lot more practical in some ways. And I know the phrase editor is a bit of a mystery, or was definitely a mystery to me for a long time, so I'm definitely going to get into that. But I quite want to share this technique first and then maybe do the phrase editor on the next one, because this is just a really fun and cool thing to do for your breaks where you can kind of jam them live, and it's definitely a good thing to get into. So I'll share a link to these in the description, but I've got 2 breaks here which I've sliced up already and I've warped, and I went through how to make these in my other videos of this kind of amen break series. I like using this longer kind of break traditionally where it will roll through each of the slices, and we're just going to start by programming a couple of different breaks in. I kind of want maybe 3 or 4 sections of a normal break, and then I want some little fill sections, and I'll show you what we're going to do with all this stuff in a second. So let's just get programming. So I quite like dung 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 dung. And I need to go to 170 BPM, which is what I warped this break to before. So I want to go like dung 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 dung. Cool. So we've got a nice little rolling break there. I think this might actually be too much here. Don't need that. And we're going to copy this. We're going to go maybe do the randomization method. So I'm going Alt-T to select it all. Random notes, selection, custom. I'm just picking the notes that I have. So I know I have C# to F here, I can see. So I'm just picking C# to F, and I'm going to randomize. Some cool little things in there, so let's just go and work on this for a second now. Cool. I want to go dung 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 like this. That's cool. So here's 2 patterns now, and let's go do one more. I do like using this randomization method. Alt-T randomize. Ding 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 ding. Yeah, ding, ding, ding. I don't want it to go, I don't want to have this note here though. I want it to be. It's just like using that randomization method is such a good way to just inspire you. You know, you're just reusing the note days you've already put in, but you just get really good results. And all you do is mess with it a little bit, and kind of like when I do it, I just sing a little bit what I think the notes want to sound like, and then you just kind of really quickly, without having to put too much thought into it, you can just get cool patterns. Okay, so they don't really flow as a whole piece, but that doesn't really matter. Now, what I'm actually going to do, I think, so I'm going to colour them all. Yeah, so I think for purposes of what I'm going to show you, it would have actually been better to make lots of little 32 bar patterns. So I've just taken these 64 bars now, and I'm changing them into two 32 bar patterns. So let's keep going. Cool, so now I've got 8 patterns, right? I've got 8 patterns in here. And so let's just create a gap, and then we're going to make these like 16 bars maybe. And then I'm going to copy this, and we're going to move it up to the snare. Cool. And for another fill section, maybe randomize them. Cool. And maybe one more fill section now. So we've got loads of main pattern sections now, and we've also got some smaller little fill sections. And so what we're going to do now is I'm going to try and like be really organized with this tutorial. So you can just create on an empty instrument in Renoise. You can just use it as like a labeling one, and then we're going to just do this page break thing like this. So just so we can move this down, maybe create some instruments below it. And below this, I'm going to now go and select. So I'm going to press Alt T to select each one of these tracks, and then I'm going to hit render to sample, and it's going to render out. And then I can just scroll. If I scroll in this window, it scrolls in the pattern editor. But if I scroll in this window, it scrolls up and down this. So that's how I'm getting here. And then I'm going to right click again, render to sample, and it's done another one. And we're going to go through all of these one by one. Okay, cool. So we've got all our main breaks and then all our fill breaks. And what we've done is we've rendered them all out to audio. So what we can do now is we can create an instrument here, and we're going to call this the Mega Amen Break, just because that's a fantastic name, I think. And I'm going to go and create samples and paste. Yeah, so the quickest way to do this is actually just to copy all the instruments in to the different samples, and then to just label everything at the end. So I've now got all my fill tracks in, and then I can focus this area and then just simply copy it down like this. We've got this Amen break now, and I've copied all of these patterns that I created in the main phrase editor into the sample window of this Amen break. We've now got them, and right now if I just press any note, they're all going to trigger. So the first thing to do, we've got to do a bit of kind of housekeeping. You come into this key zones, and if you just click drum kit here, it's now going to map all of the instruments to individual keys on the keyboard. So now if I trigger the right note, So we've got now all of these instruments playing. Now they're actually a bit quiet to me. What I might do is actually just come in and normalize them all back up. So one thing we want to do is put mono on. This will mean that each of these samples will chop each other off. And another quite fun thing to do, just when you're practicing them, is to turn one shot on, and then you can just press, oh, I've got to turn one shot on for all of them. So select them all and turn one shot on. So this is a very similar technique to how it works if you map out your phrases and you drag the phrases to the key map. You use the key map mode and you drag each of these different phrases to different notes on the key map. This is a very similar method that I've done here. I think this method that I'm using gives me a lot more flexibility to add effects and modulation to each of the different chops. One thing you can't do here is you can't start putting markers in. If you put markers, it's going to delete all of the other slots, so you don't want to do that. But what we're going to do straight away is actually just save this, just in case anything happens. We've got this amen, all these patterns, fill patterns running at 170, and we've labeled them all up. What we're going to do first is create a few more little cool variations. So one thing, we're just going to copy this main pattern, create a new sample, paste it in. Now what you're going to see is it's actually going to, if I trigger this note, it's going to now trigger, C3 is actually triggering two notes now, so you've got to keep clicking this drum kit again every time you duplicate a sample in this window to make it remap what it's going to do. And I'm actually going to go, I want the snare here. I was trying to do my marker technique to get rid of the beginning, but actually I can't do it here. So I'm just taking this snare, if I zoom out, cool. So now, and I'm going to take one shot off the snare and I'm going to loop it. And let's do a ping pong. Ping pong is kind of cool. Forward. So that's cool. Now, annoyingly, in Renoise, you can't actually map sample start and end. So you could say put an LFO or an envelope to create a cool effect like that. But what you can do is you can record it. I've got a audio interface here which actually lets me record through loopback, so anything that's played through my interface I'll be able to record. You can use other programs, like I'm using a program called Loopback here on a Mac to actually kind of make my OBS work when I'm recording this video, but you can use programs like that to allow you to record the kind of system output of Renoise. But if I just hit start and I come back to this break and I play this, so stop, and now I've actually got that as a sample in Renoise. So let's delete this, and I'm actually going to delete that, and I'm going to copy this and I'm going to bring it into a new pattern in here. And that's fine. So, and we're going to normalize it again. And I almost want to go from like here, maybe just get the rolling bit, just the cool rolling snare. And so we've got these cool effects, right? So I've got this one, and maybe I do one similarly here with the kick, maybe. And we're going to loop this section. Like a helicopter taking off. Like that. Let's normalize it, let's copy it, let's bring it in to a new section. So for those of you who haven't got loopback recording that are sat there thinking, oh fuck, I want to be able to do these cool effects, you can actually do a lot of good stuff just with like a loop like this. So Let's go. If you come into this modulation section, by default, you can see this Modo 1 is telling you which kind of modulation lane all these tracks are responding to. So what you do is you create a new modulation lane and then you just select mod 2 for the one you're working on. So all the other ones are not going to be affected by this. But just this rolling snare or rolling kick, whatever it is, rolling kick by the sounds of it, is going to be affected by this modulation lane. And then if I put in a pitch envelope, let's go make this bigger and get rid of that all the way down there. And so we're going to have this like pitching down now. Probably wants to be a bit quicker than that. We can make it start from 0. But it sounded quite cool going up. Maybe make it more. Oh, that's quite naughty, isn't it? Maybe from 12. That's cool. And do we want to mess with the... We've now got this kind of pitchy down one. Maybe we can apply this one, normal. What this one? That sounds awesome, but actually I think what I want to do is copy that, modulation 3, and for this one, put mod 3 on, paste that back in, and then maybe really quick. Oh, it's called oh, maybe like make this one massive. Ooh. Okay, that's cool. I mean, 1248 maybe, just to make it cool. So I've got these cool kind of pitch down effects now. Let's just keep this nice and tidy. I kind of want to hear that, like, but can I draw that in? Do you think is a better way to do it, like this? So it's got this like faster, and you can see the envelope there, what it's doing with the pitch. And I've basically just jacked up the pitch range to give it just more. It's just going through more pitch, basically. It's going through more octaves. But I think that's pretty self-explanatory. So okay, so I've created some kind of cool effects, recording the output of Renoise and then just looping sections of the amen. Maybe we go one more and just find like a hi-hat or a ride. That's kind of cool. So it's got some kind of like stereo side to side there. In this one, stereo pan. So I've just done some kind of basic effects in the modulation area, and now I'm going to come into this effects area and we're going to go a little bit crazy in here, and I'm just going to create lots of instruments right now just to kind of remind myself where we're going. But we're going to have flanger 1, flanger 2, we're going to have a filter, we're going to have a lo-fi, we're going to have a gate, we're going to have a LFO gate. I think that would be good for now, and maybe a master. And so on each of these, I'm going to get this thing called a send, and I'm going to send them. I'm going to mute the source, and I'm going to send it to the master. Okay, and they're all going to go like this. So they're all going to go out the master bus. What we're going to do now is it's going to go mental. So we've got all of our main effects plus some fill effects. Fill HI, and then we're going to go flanger. Flanger 1, flanger 2, filter, filter. We're going to whack that down. We're going to drive it really hard. And then we're going to go for a lo-fi. And I'm going to put an LFO on this one as well. So I'll explain this, what I'm doing, as I go back through it. But I'm just creating some effects, really, as the lo-fi mat and as probably as the rate. Or, yeah, the rate maybe. And we're going to take this to 8-bit and we're going to put the output low, amplitude low. Maybe more like this. And then a gate. I'm just going to use a traditional gate for this one. I've got this preset I made, Amen gate. And we're going to do on this, we're going to go and get gainer and LFO. So I'll show you this one while I'm here. And if I go now, so what I'm going to do now is I've got all my main ones, copy, and I actually want to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, copy A, paste. No, that's not working. Is it? I'm not selected in this area. Copy. Okay, you got to copy them one by one. B. Okay, rowdy. And we're going to send these to effects 2. And so we're basically creating a massive patch now where we're going to send some of our different instruments to different effects, and it's going to sound pretty crazy. So that's the one. Slow metal flange sounds awesome. So we're going one flange, slow metal flange. Let's go spacey cymbal, and maybe go put some of these on spacey cymbal. So I've got two kind of cool flanger patches. D, let's go filter, let's go lo-fi gate, LFO gate, and maybe another filter one or something. Maybe some more gain on this track. Maybe let's put a LFO and let's go put custom. In Renoise, you can make an LFO into an envelope by pressing custom and then one shot. What you've got to do is when you program it in, you program the reset in the automation so you can reset it when you want the envelope to happen. So this one's a bit random. The lo-fi mat is sounding a bit weird. That sounds quite cool. Maybe if we put a filter in this one. So it's just like crunchy, noisy mess, but we're going to leave that there. Where's this pattern? I just want this to go dung 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 dung. So I'm going to delete this. That's all right. There. And let's loop it. And then it's back here. That's a gated one. This is going to the gate. So I've now got to put an LFO. Let's do a custom 3. I want the gainer amplitude. So this method with F, this is the gate method using the actual gate plugin, and then you can use an LFO to gainer. So I've drawn in a custom wave shape just so I can control the length of the envelope better. So interestingly, what I'm actually wanting to hear with this filtered break is I want to hear a filter being triggered by me pressing a key. And a better way to do that would actually be to come in here and set up a filter. And you go here, you go low pass, so you got all the same filter options. And if I just now select an envelope to cut off, and I put this one on it. Okay, make it way longer. And let's open it up from, give it full range. So it's about to 3, isn't it? So now you've got to open it up, but you're triggering it every time you press a key. Whereas when you're putting the modulation in this area, you've got to either automate it, or you're just at the whim of your LFOs and your envelopes, which are just triggering freely. So these are triggered envelopes, and the ones in here are free running LFOs and envelopes. I want to drive this with an envelope as well. What I want to do is copy this envelope, copy it, paste it into drive, and have a drive envelope. Cool. Resonance, do I want some resonance? That's not bad. Maybe lower at the start. What I've got now is loads of mental breaks. So let's get onto the fills quickly. That's cool. This one can go to 3. So we've also got a problem with some of them being a lot louder, like this. Both these. But in here. That's quite cool. And the general idea, I'm going to try and chop this video up and make it all make sense. But the general idea is that you create a bunch of modulation panels that do different things. So I've got a pitch drop, I've got a couple of pitch drops, and so you can assign them to different modulation kind of sections, and you can assign them to different effects chains, right? So you create loads of effects chains, loads of modulation sections, and the cool thing is it's saved all inside this instrument. So if I save this again, and it should just replace the old one, I've now got this mental amen break crazy choppage thing that I've done that I can bring into any track. And to take this further, I have sent all of these channels to this master one, and that just means if I want to put on, say, a bit of bus compression to the main track, and I might use this preset I've made just to kind of get them all more balanced and level, then I can apply processing to the main bus of this whole group. I can also just put processing on the track that this drum break is in. So now we've got this. Let's go new section, and let's call like post effects amen. Enter, and let's just program something crazy in. Yeah, 2 more. Dun, dun. And then forwards again. I want it to go like dung 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 dung, and then re-trigger here, forward. Oh, that was cool. Backwards here. B. Oh yeah, what we can do. But I can't hit re-trigger, can I? How do I get re-trigger? I can map re-trigger to a macro. Okay. I want to re-trigger from 0, I think. So you can re-trigger from a different point. That's cool. So we want to be on 0. Yeah. Ah. Okay, cool. So I'm having to re-trigger it before, just to allow Renoise to kind of catch up with it, to give it a bit of kind of look ahead for it, which seems when I re-trigger it on the sample, it's actually getting a bit kind of confused there. Okay, and so we've got this one happening. I don't want this note now. Ding, ding, ding. No. And just some more craziness now with definitely at the end of this, I'm going to put in one of these crazy fills like a bit earlier. Yeah, maybe like here. So let's listen to these crazy effects. So you got your kind of normal amen that we made before, and then now we created this mad instrument where I've mapped all of this crazy stuff in the modulation panel and in the effects panel, and it's a beautiful sound.
Go something like this. Go something like this. Go something like this. Go something like this. Go something like this.
Yeah.
Go something like this. Go something like this.
Now listen.
That's cool.
Go something like this. Go something like this. Go something like this. Go something like this. Go something like this.
Yo, so just for the sake of keeping this tutorial around 40 minutes, which is already massive, I'm going to cut it there. Thanks for anyone who's followed this far. I know it got a little bit crazy at parts, but hopefully it all makes sense. And if it doesn't, hit me up in the comments and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Peace.